Welcome back to another deep dive. Today we're not just looking at a text or analyzing data. We are stepping into a memory.
Hmm.
And I really mean that. We're stepping into a memory that is so sharp and so painful and yet so defined by love that it ends up anchoring an entire human life.
It absolutely does. It's a memory that, and I'm borrowing a phrase from the narrator here,
Yeah.
literally claws its way out of the grave.
That is such a visceral image to start with. Claws its way out. We are, of course, talking about The Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseini.
Of course.
Now, before we even get into the plot, and believe me, there is a lot of plot, I want to set the scene for you. Just for a second, close your eyes. Imagine it's December 2001.
Okay, so the world has already changed drastically by then.
Exactly. But our narrator, Amir, he's living in San Francisco. He's an adult. He's married. He's a writer. He's just walking through Golden Gate Park. And then he sees a pair of kites flying in the sky.
And that's the trigger.
That's the trigger. Suddenly, he's not in California. His mind just snaps back instantly to the winter of 1975.
Yeah, and that specific date, that is the absolute fulcrum of the entire book. Winter 1975. Amir actually says, "I became what I am today at the age of 12."
That is such a heavy thing to say.
It's incredibly heavy. Think about that. He's telling us right from the very first page that his entire identity, his adulthood, his career, his marriage, all of it was forged in a single, frigid, overcast season in Kabul.
And he introduces this concept right away that it resonates with everyone, right? Regardless of where you grew up. The idea of the past. He says it's wrong what they say about the past, about how you can bury it.
Right.
Because the past claws its way out.
It just sets the tone perfectly. It tells you this isn't going to be some happy, nostalgic coming-of-age story.
No.
It's a haunting. Amir's isn't just, reminiscing about the good old days. He's being actively hunted by his own history. And that hunt, it begins with a phone call.
A call from Pakistan.
From Rahim Khan.
Who's awful.
Well, he's Amir's father's oldest friend, his business partner. He was basically a second father figure to Amir.
The cool uncle, almost.
Exactly. The one who understood him. And Rahim Khan is dying. He calls Amir, who is, thousands of miles away in the safety and comfort of America. And he offers him something that Amir just can't refuse. He says, "There's a way to be good again."
A way to be good again. I remember pausing when I first read that line, because that immediately implies that Amir, our protagonist, the person we're supposed to be rooting for, is currently, what? Bad.
Or broken, at least. Or that he's carrying a massive debt, a moral ledger that has been deep in the red for 26 years. He's living the successful life on the surface, but underneath, there is this burden that hasn't shifted an inch since he was 12 years old.
So that is our mission for this deep dive. We're going to unpack that debt. We're going to dig into the source material, which, reviews have called shattering, Shakespearean, devastating. It's this fable-like story. It's almost biblical in its scope, but it just hits you with the force of reality.
And we're going to explore the complex, sometimes really brutal relationship between a father and son. We're going to talk about the heartbreaking cost of betrayal. And importantly, we are going to walk through the streets of a lost world pre-war Afghanistan.
That's such a key point, because if your only image of Afghanistan comes from news footage from the last few decades, rubble, tanks, dusty streets, constant conflict, the Kabul described in the first part of this book is going to feel like a dream.
A different planet. It really is. We are starting in the Wazir Akbar Khan district.
Which is what, like the Beverly Hills of Kabul?
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Yes. It's affluent. It's beautiful. And Hosseini spends a lot of time painting this picture for us because he needs us to feel the sheer magnitude of the loss later on.
Right.
He talks about rose bushes lining the driveways, marble floors in the houses, intricate mosaic tiles. He talks about these beautiful rows of poplar trees where the boys played. It is, for all intents and purposes, a kind of paradise.
But like every paradise, there's a serpent, or at least a hierarchy. And this is where the tension begins. We have two boys, Amir and Hassan. They are the sultans of Kabul.
That's what they call themselves, yeah.
Yeah.
But the reality is, it's much more complicated. You have Amir, our narrator. He's Pashtun, he's Sunni, and he is the son of a very wealthy, highly respected businessman.
Yeah.
He lives in the mansion. He has the status.
And then there's Hassan.
And then there's Hassan. Hassan is a Hazara. He's Shia. He's the son of Ali, who is the longtime household servant. They live in a little mud shack on the same property.
Huge difference.
A world of difference. And on top of all of that, Hassan was born with a physical deformity, a cleft lip. Amir refers to it throughout the early chapters as a hair lip. So, physically, socially, religiously, They are separated by this enormous chasm.
But, and this is the but that defines their entire childhood, they are inseparable. They are practically joined at the hip.
They are. And Hosseini gives us this biological, almost mystical reason for that bond. You see, both of their mothers were gone when they were babies. Amir's mother died in childbirth. Hassan's mother just ran off with a traveling troupe. So they were nursed by the same woman, a wet nurse named Sakina.
Which, in that culture, creates a kind of kinship, right?
It's a very specific kind. Ali, Hassan's father, tells them there's a brotherhood between people who fed from the same breast, a kinship that not even time could break. It's a bond that's supposed to transcend the class difference, at least in theory.
And their first words, I love this detail because it's so incredibly telling of their future dynamic.
It's heartbreakingly prophetic, isn't it?
Yeah. Amir's first word was Baba, father.
Always looking up, seeking approval.
And Hassan's first word was Amir.
Looking across.
Yeah.
Pure devotion. The foundation of their entire tragedy is laid right there in those first syllables. It's brilliant.
And they do everything together. I mean, this is a classic boyhood friendship. They're chasing nomads. They're annoying the neighbors by reflecting sunlight into their windows with little mirror shards. They watch movies.
Westerns. They're completely obsessed with American Westerns, Rio Bravo, and especially The Magnificent Seven.
13 times. They watched The Magnificent Seven 13 times. I just love that image of these two Afghan kids, one wealthy, one a servant, sitting there just mesmerized by Yul Brynner and Steve McQueen on a screen in Kabul.
It's a great detail because Westerns are all about this clear-cut morality, right? You've got your good guys, your bad guys, loyalty, protecting the weak. These are the values they're absorbing. And they have this special spot, a pomegranate tree on a hill overlooking the city, and they carve their names into it. Amir and Hassan, the Sultans of Kabul.
The Sultans of Kabul. It implies they own the city together, but they don't own it equally, do they?
Not even close. And this is where we have to start looking at Amir with a more critical eye. Because even within their friendship, this deep inequality constantly bleeds through. For starters, Amir is literate. He devours books. Hassan is illiterate. He's never been to school because, well, he's a servant and a Hazara. And Amir uses that against him.
Yeah, let's unpack that, because Amir isn't exactly the hero of his own story here, is he? He's kind of he's a complicated kid.
He's a realistic kid. He's flawed. He reads to Hassan, which on the surface is a very sweet thing to do.
Right, it seems generous.
It does. But he also mocks him. There is this one scene that just makes you cringe. Amir is reading a story, and he comes across the word imbecile. Hassan stops him and asks what it means.
And Amir could just explain it to him.
He absolutely could. But instead, he lies. He tells Hassan it means smart or intelligent. He actively tricks Hassan into essentially calling himself an idiot without knowing it.
Ugh, that is just, it's mean, it's petty.
It is pure petty cruelty. But we have to ask why he does it. And it really stems from this deep-seated jealousy and insecurity. Amir feels like he is constantly competing for his father's love, and he's always losing. So exerting power over Hassan, the only person he can exert power over, it makes him feel bigger for a second.
It's a nasty little coping mechanism.
It is. And you see it too when Amir's other friend, his upper-class friends, come over to play. He completely ignores Hassan. Hassan is his best friend only when no one else is watching.
And yet Hassan just takes it. He never gets mad. He never fights back.
He doesn't just take it. He accepts it with this pure, unadulterated devotion. Hassan is described as having a face like a Chinese doll with these gold-green eyes. But his defining trait, his absolute core, is unwavering loyalty. He never, ever tells on Amir. Not once. If they get in trouble, Hassan always takes the blame.
Which brings us to that famous line, "For you, 1,000 times over."
That is the essence of Hassan. He is pure. In a literary sense, he's almost Christ-like or saint-like in his goodness. And he's also, by the way, deadly with a slingshot, which is a detail you want to file away in your brain because it comes back in a big way.
Right.
But that purity, it actually grates on Amir.
Why? You'd think he'd love having a friend who is that loyal.
Because Amir knows, deep down, that he doesn't deserve it. Every single time Hassan is loyal, it just highlights Amir's own lack of character. Hassan is a mirror, and Amir doesn't like the reflection he sees.
And that insecurity, that feeling of not being good enough, it all leads back to the source of his anxiety, the man he is trying so desperately to impress. Baba.
Mr. Herkis.
Trufanaga.
Yes.
This guy sounds larger than life. Just the way he enters a room, the way he's described.
He is. Hosseini describes him as a force of nature. He's 6'5", loud, powerful. There's literally a local legend that he once wrestled a black bear. And Amir says he has dreams where she can't tell the difference between Baba and the bear.
That says so much about their relationship right there. He is terrified of his own father.
He is, and he's in complete awe of him. Baba is a man who builds things. He built an orphanage with his own money when all the architects and skeptics said it couldn't be done. He's a man of huge appetites. Whiskey, hunting, massive parties. He is a real man in that very traditional Afghan sense of the word.
And Amir isn't.
Amir is the exact opposite.
Amir
Likes poetry, he likes books, he hates soccer, he gets carsick, he's sensitive, he cries easily. And Baba really struggles with that. He just doesn't understand it.
There's that scene where Amir overhears them. He's listening to Baba talking to Rahim Khan in the study. That has to be one of the most painful things a child could ever hear a parent say.
No, it's just devastating. Baba is venting, he's frustrated with Amir, and he says, if I hadn't seen the doctor pull him out of my wife with my own eyes, I'd never believe he's my son.
Ouch. That just cuts to the bone.
It confirms Amir's absolute worst fear, that he is a fundamental disappointment. And then you have to add this other layer of guilt on top of it.
His mother.
His mother died giving birth to him. So Amir walks around carrying this immense burden, feeling like he is responsible for her death. He feels like Baba secretly blames him for the loss of his princess. He feels like a thief who stole his father's happiness.
And speaking of thieves, Baba has a very, very specific philosophy on sin, doesn't he? I found this really fascinating because Baba isn't a religious man at all.
No, not in the least. In fact, he openly mocks the religious mullahs. He thinks they're all hypocrites. But he has this incredibly strict moral code. He sits Amir down on his knee one day and tells him there is only one sin, just one, and that sin is theft.
Just theft. That seems a little reductive at first, doesn't it?
Well, hear him out. He explains that every other sin is just a variation of theft. Murder, that's stealing a life. It's stealing a husband from a wife or a father from his children. Lying, that is stealing someone's right to the truth. Cheating, that's stealing the right to fairness.
That's actually a really powerful way to look at morality. It simplifies everything down to a single principle of integrity.
It is incredibly compelling. But now, think about how heavy that is for Amir. Amir already feels like he is stealing his father's time, stealing his affection, and, as we said, he feels he stole his mother's life. He is living in a state of perpetual moral debt to this giant of a man who sees the entire universe through the lens of theft.
So Amir is desperate for a win. He needs something, anything to bridge this gap. He needs to prove to Baba that he's worthy, that he's a real man.
And that brings us back to the winter of 1975 and the kite tournament.
The climax of childhood.
The absolute Super Bowl of Kabul.
I really didn't understand how big of a deal kite fighting was in Afghanistan until I read this. It's not just a hobby, it's practically a blood sport.
It's incredibly intense. The schools closed down for the winter and the sky is just filled with kites. But it's not just about flying them, it's about fighting. The strings, the tar are coated in this mixture of glass and glue. The goal is to slice the other person's string and send their kite falling.
And that's where the Kite Runners come in.
Right. When a kite is cut, it drifts down to the ground somewhere in the city. It's a trophy. The Kite Runners chase it. And to catch the last fallen kite, the one from the final opponent of the day, that is a huge honor. And Hassan. Hassan is the best kite runner in all of Kabul.
He has an instinct for it.
It's like a sixth sense. He knows exactly where the kite will land before it even gets there. He doesn't even look at the sky half the time. He just runs.
So the day of the big tournament comes, and for Amir, this is it. This is his path to salvation.
He says so explicitly. He thinks, if I win this tournament, Baba will finally love me. I will finally be worthy. I'll be forgiven. And to add to the pressure, Baba tells all his friends that he thinks Amir is going to win this year. The stakes could not be higher.
So walk us through the victory.
It's a total battle. Amir's in the zone. He's cutting kites left and right. His hands are literally bloody from the glass-coated string. Eventually, it comes down to him and one other kite, a blue kite. Just two left in the sky.
The final boss.
The final boss.
Huh.
And he does it. He outmaneuvers the other flyer. He cuts the string of the blue kite. He's won.
And the reaction from Baba.
It's the single moment he's dreamed of his whole life. He looks up at the roof of their house, and he sees Baba pumping his fists, yelling, cheering for him. Amir calls it the single greatest moment of his 12 years. He has finally crossed that chasm. In that moment, he feels like he is truly Baba's son.
But the victory isn't complete without the trophy. He needs that blue kite.
Exactly. Amir has to bring that blue kite home and put it on the mantle. And Hassan, being Hassan, takes off running to get it for him. He shouts back over his shoulder that one line,
For you, 1,000 times over.
and he's gone. He runs to catch that blue kite so Amir can present it as a prize to Baba.
And this is where the story pivots. This is the moment the memory starts to claw its way out.
This is section 4, the alley.
Amir goes looking for Hassan. He's getting impatient. He wants his kite. He eventually finds him. But Hassan isn't alone.
No, he's been cornered in a deserted, snow-covered alley by SF.
Okay, we need to talk about Asif. Because every story needs a villain, but this kid he's genuinely terrifying.
He is a full-blown sociopath. There's really no other word for it. He's the son of a diplomat. He's half German, half Afghan, and he is obsessed with Hitler. He basically wants to be the Hitler of Afghanistan. He believes in Pashtun supremacy. He calls Hazaras like Hassan pollution. He wants to cleanse the country of them.
And he's known for being violent.
Extremely violent. His nickname is the Ear Eater because he essentially bit a kid's ear off in a fight. Here's brass knuckles.
Yeah.
And he has a history with Hassan.
Right. Years before this, Hassan protected Amir from Asif. He aimed his slingshot right at Asif's eye and threatened to blind him. Asif backed down, but he swore he would get revenge one day.
And now he has Hassan completely alone.
Asif and his two goons, Wally and Kamal, they have Hassan trapped, and they have the blue kite.
SF gives Hassan an ultimatum. He says, give me the kite and we'll let you go.
But the kite belongs to Amir.
And Hassan's loyalty is absolute. It's not even a question for him. He refuses. He looks Asif in the eye and says, this is Amir Aga's kite. He chooses loyalty to Amir over his own safety.
And then the unthinkable happens.
Asif rapes Hassan. It's a brutal, horrific act of violence. And it's important to understand it's not just a physical assault. It's an act of ideological domination. It's Asif cleansing the pollution in his twisted mind. It is designed to degrade and destroy Hassan completely.
And Amir. Where is Amir while all of this is happening?
Amir's there. He found them. He's watching. He's hiding behind a corner at the end of the alley. He sees everything.
And this is the moment. This is the choice that will define the rest of his life.
He freezes. He has a choice. Split-second choice. He can step into that alley. He can scream for help. He can fight. He'll probably get beaten up badly, maybe worse. But he would be standing with Hassan. He would finally be the friend that Hassan has always been to him.
But he doesn't.
He doesn't. He turns and he runs.
Why? That is the question that just plagues him for decades. Why did he run?
It's this toxic combination of pure cowardice mixed with his ambition. In that terrible moment, he realizes that if he interferes, he might lose the blue kite. Asif might take it or destroy it. And that blue kite is his key to Baba. The kite is the price of admission to his father's love. And in his mind, in this terrifying bit of moral calculus, he decides that Hassan is the price I had to pay, the lamb I had to slay to win his father.
Imagery. The lamb. It's so powerful.
It haunts him for the rest of his life. He remembers watching the sheep being sacrificed for the holiday of Eid. He remembers the look of quiet acceptance in the animal's eyes right before the knife cuts. And he sees that exact same look on Hassan's face in the alley. Hassan just resigns himself to the violence.
Yeah.
He doesn't fight back because he knows somehow that the kite matters more to Amir than his own body.
So Amir runs away. He pretends he saw nothing. And a little while later, he meets Hassan coming back down the street.
And this is maybe the most painful part of the whole sequence. Hassan has the kite. He's bloodied. He's traumatized. He's limping. His clothes are torn. But he hands the kite to Amir, and Amir takes it. He takes the prize that cost his best friend his innocence.
And he gets what he wanted. He goes home, he gives the kite to Baba, and Baba is proud.
He is. Baba is overjoyed. They finally bond. They go to the zoo. They go to the movies. Amir finally has his father's undivided attention. But he was rotting from the inside out. He calls it the rot of guilt. Every time he looks at Baba's proud face, he feels like a fraud. Every time he looks at Hassan, he sees his own cowardice reflected back at him.
You just can't build happiness on a foundation like that. It's impossible.
No, he becomes an insomniac. He can't stand Hassan's loyalty anymore. Every time Hassan serves him tea or smiles at him, it feels like a knife twisting in his gut. He wants Hassan to scream at him. He wants Hassan to punish him.
Which leads to that scene with the pomegranates. It's complete psychological break.
It is. Amir takes Hassan up to their hill, to the pomegranate tree where they carved their names. And Amir just starts pelting Hassan with ripe pomegranates. He's throwing them as hard as he can. He's hitting him in the chest, the face, and he's screaming at Hassan, "Hit me back, hit me back."
He's desperate to be punished.
He's desperate for Hassan to absolve him by punishing him. If Hassan fights back, they're equals. If Hassan fights back, then Amir gets what he deserves. But Hassan picks up a pomegranate and he crushes it against his own forehead. The red juice runs down his face like blood. And he just quietly asks, "Are you satisfied?" He refuses to give Amir the release of punishment. He maintains his dignity, which only makes Amir feel smaller and more ashamed.
And it becomes unbearable. So Amir decides he has to get rid of Hassan. He just can't live with the constant reminder of his failure.
He realizes one of them has to go. And it's not going to be him. The moment of decision comes at Amir's 13th birthday party. It's this lavish affair, hundreds of people.
Which, ironically and chillingly, Asif attends.
Yes. Asif shows up to the party. He gives Amir a biography of Hitler as a birthday gift. It's a chilling little detail that shows us Asif hasn't changed one bit. But amidst all the fireworks and the cake, Amir makes his move. He takes his brand new watch and a handful of cash, and he plants it under Hassan's mattress.
He frames him for theft.
He frames him. He goes to Baba and tells him that Hassan stole from him.
And remember Baba's philosophy. Theft is the one and only sin. This should be the end of the line for Hassan. Baba should be furious.
Baba calls Hassan and Ali into the study. He holds up the watch and the money. He looks at Hassan and asks, "Did you steal this?" And Hassan looks over at Amir. He sees the panic in Amir's eyes. And he says, "Yes."
Why, after everything, why would he admit to a crime he didn't commit? Especially when theft is the one thing he knows Baba despises.
To protect Amir. Even now, after the alley, after the pomegranates. He knows Amir planted the watch. He knows Amir wants him gone. And so he gives Amir what he wants. He sacrifices his own honor to save Amir's. It is the final heartbreaking act of, for you, 1,000 times over.
And Baba's reaction is just shocking.
It completely flicks everything we thought we knew about Baba. Baba, the man who says theft is the only sin, the man who is so rigid in his morality. He looks at Hassan and he says, "I forgive you."
Whoa, why? That makes no sense based on his character.
That is the question that haunts Amir for years. Why would he forgive this ultimate sin? We don't know the answer yet, but it doesn't matter in the moment. Ali, Hassan's father, has too much dignity. He knows something is deeply wrong. He knows his son didn't steal, and he suspects Amir is behind it. He refuses to stay in a house where they are no longer respected.
So they leave.
Despite Baba pleading with them, he begs them to stay. He cries. It's the first time Amir ever sees his father cry. But Ali and Hassan pack their few belongings and they leave the Wazir Akbar Khan district forever. Amir watches them walk away in the rain, and the sultans of Kabul are no more. The brotherhood is broken by betrayal.
And that really ends the childhood section of the book. But the story doesn't stop there. It jumps forward in time. It's 1981, and the world has completely changed.
Completely. The monarchy is gone. The Russians, the Shirawi have invaded Afghanistan. The paradise of rose bushes and kite tournaments is gone. Amir is now 18 years old. He and Baba are refugees. They are fleeing Kabul in the back of a truck, trying to get to Pakistan.
This whole sequence is terrifying. Amir is carsick. He's scared. But Baba is still Baba, isn't he?
This is Baba's last stand, in a way. And it shows us the fundamental difference between the father and the son. They get to a Russian checkpoint. A young Russian soldier, drunk on power, demands attacks. He wants to have a half hour with a young woman who is also in the truck.
It's sickening. He's leveraging his power to assault a refugee.
And everyone in the truck is terrified into silence.
Yeah.
But Baba stands up. Amir is panicking. He's trying to pull Baba down, thinking he's going to get us all killed. Don't be a hero. But Baba refuses to sit. He looks that soldier in the eye. And remember, the soldier has a rifle. And he says, "Tell him I'll take 1,000 of his bullets before I let this indecency take place."
The contrast there is it's blindingly clear.
It is the defining contrast of the novel. Amir sacrificed his best friend to save himself from a schoolyard bully. Baba is willing to die to save a total stranger's honor. It highlights exactly what Amir lacks. He sees his father as immense courage, and it just throws his own cowardice in the alley into even sharper relief.
Luckily, another older Russian officer intervenes, and they get through. But then they have to switch vehicles to get across the border.
And this part is pure claustrophobia. They have to travel inside an empty fuel tank truck. It's pitch black. It reeks of gasoline fumes. It's a panic-inducing nightmare. Amir starts to hyperventilate, and Baba just whispers to him in the dark, "Think of something good."
And what does Amir think of? What's his happy place?
He thinks of kites. He thinks of flying kites with Hassan on a clear day in Kabul. Even in the dark, fleeing his home country as a refugee, that's the memory that calms him down.
But the tragedy just follows them. When they finally get out of the truck in Pakistan, they find that Kamal, one of the boys who held Hassan down for Asif in the alley, was on the truck with them.
He dies from the fumes inside the tank. And his father, seeing his son is dead, completely breaks. He takes the smuggler's gun and commits suicide right there on the side of the road. It's this grim, awful reminder that no one escapes the trauma of this place. You might get out physically, but the damage travels with you.
So they finally make it out. They get to Pakistan, and eventually they get asylum in America. Fremont, California.
The early 1980s. And this is where we see this massive role reversal between father and son.
Yeah, talk about a culture shock.
Baba was a titan in Kabul. He was wealthy, powerful, respected. In Fremont, he's a gas station attendant.
That image of Baba behind the counter at a gas station.
It's humbling, but it's also noble in its own way. He refuses to take food stamps, calls it charity. He works these long, hard hours, but he struggles immensely. There's a scene in a grocery store where a clerk asks for his ID to cash a check, and Baba just has a tantrum. He flips out.
Why? What's the trigger there?
Because he feels so deeply insulted. In Kabul, everyone knew him. His word was his bond. He used to keep track of credit for local merchants by carving notches in a stick. In America, he's just another immigrant with a funny accent. He feels invisible. He feels small for the first time in his life.
But while Baba declines, Amir rises.
Exactly. For Amir, America is a relief. He says, America was a river roaring along, unmindful of the past. He loves that America has no memory. He thinks he can finally bury his guilt here. He graduates high school at age 20. Baba is incredibly proud. He uses the word muftakir.
And Amir decides he wants to be a writer.
Which Baba, of course, hates. He wants him to be a doctor or a lawyer, something stable, something respectable. But Amir, for one of the first times in his life, stands his ground. He insists on studying creative writing. It's one of the few times he ever really defies Baba.
And they develop this new ritual, this new community center, the flea market.
The San Jose Flea Market on Sundays. It becomes the new social hub for the displaced Afghan community. It's like a little slice of Kabul transported to California. They sell used goods, they gossip, they drink tea. They are trying desperately to recreate the community they lost.
And this is where Amir meets Soraya.
The swap meet princess. She's the daughter of General Taheri, this pompous former general who refuses to get a job because he feels it's beneath him. Soraya's beautiful and kind, and Amir is instantly infatuated.
But there's a catch, of course.
There's always a catch in this story. Baba warns him. He says there are rumors about Soraya. She has a past. She had a rebellious phase. She ran off with a man once. And the strict, gossip-driven Afghan community, that's a permanent stain. She's considered damaged goods by many.
But Amir doesn't care about that.
And this is so key to his character at this point. He says he doesn't care about her past because he has a past of his own. He knows what it's like to carry a dark secret. He knows what it's like to have done things you deeply regret. So her stained reputation actually makes her more relatable to him. It makes him feel safe with her. She eventually confesses her past to him, and he says he envies her.
He envies her for having a bad reputation.
He envies her because she was able to talk about it. Her secret is out in the open. She's dealt with it. His secret, the alley, the watch, the betrayal of Hassan, is still locked deep inside him, poisoning everything.
So we leave Amir there for now. He's in America. He courts and marries Soraya. He's on his way to becoming a published writer. Baba is aging, getting sick with cancer, but they are safe. It feels like he actually escaped. It feels like he made it.
But you have to remember the very first line of the book. The past claws its way out. You can't just move to Fremont, California and forget a boy in a snow-filled alley.
That phone call from Rahim Khan is still waiting for him.
There is a way to be good again. That line implies that Amir knows, on some level, that he isn't good yet. The American dream is a bandage, but the wound is still there, underneath. It's festering.
It really makes you think about the whole nature of history in this book. It's so cyclic.
It is. We go from the peace and beauty of the kite tournament to the violence of the invasion, from the wealth of Kabul to a stall at the flea market in San Jose. But the one constant through all of it is that guilt, that unabsolved sin.
And the definition of fatherhood, too. Baba is such a complex figure. He's a hero in that truck, standing up to the Russian soldier. But he's also the man whose emotional neglect made his son feel so small that the son betrayed his best friend just to get a pat on the head.
It's a tragic, tragic dynamic. And here's a thought to chew on as we wrap up this part of the story. Baba believes theft is the only sin, right?
Right.
But we have to ask, did Baba steal something too? Later in the story, and we won't spoil the huge reveal that comes later in the book, you absolutely have to read it for yourself, but it makes you reconsider everything.
What do you mean?
Did he steal the truth? We questioned why he forgave Hassan so easily for the stolen watch. It seemed so out of character. Maybe it wasn't just benevolence. Maybe Baba understood guilt far better than Amir ever realized. Maybe Baba looked at Hassan and saw something, or someone, that he simply couldn't turn his back on no matter what.
Ooh, that gives a whole new ironic context to his theft is the only sin speech. Maybe he was talking to himself as much as he was talking to Amir.
It's very possible. We act like we're burying the past, but most of the time we're just planting seeds that are going to grow into something we have to reckon with later.
That is a powerful place to leave it. It really forces us, the readers, to ask, can you ever really bury the past? Or does it always find a way to manifest in the present?
And I think Amir's story gives us the answer. It claws its way out. When it does, you have to decide if you are going to run again or if you're finally going to stand your ground.
This has been an incredible look at the first half of the Kite Runner. It's a heavy one for sure, but man, is it a necessary read. The themes of redemption, loyalty, fatherhood, the immigrant experience, they're just timeless.
Absolutely. It's a modern classic for a very good reason.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Keep reading, keep thinking, and we'll see you on the next one.